Speeches, speeches, and more speeches. The president was his usual brilliant self, but I've found another speech that I want to share with you that I think surpasses it. Welcome back to Rob's Feed Today. This is episode number 99, and I'm Rob Schendel. So last night, President Obama gave his brilliant State of the Union address. But all this bipartisanship, it was almost sickening. Friends, oh, such good friends, palsy-walsy, sitting next to each other. It was like saccharine. It was like, I was waiting for them to break out and start singing, "Doe, a deer, a female deer." Didn't happen, though. And it didn't happen because the Republicans had to go and prove again that their interests are not consistent with yours or mine. For example, health care. President Obama referred to the fact that no longer could a child be denied health care because they had a pre-existing condition. Now, who can be against that? Well, the Republicans can, and they are, and they were silent on that. So I suppose one could interpret that as Republicans are not in favor of children. And it turns out they also are not in favor of love. When President Obama referred to the fact that no longer could one be barred from military service because of who they love, they were silent on that too. Don't like love, don't like children. And then we are treated to not one, but two responses, two speeches from right-wing lunatics. How lucky can we be? Oh, and Michelle Bachmann, next time, have your floor director place the teleprompter directly underneath or in front of the camera. That way, it can look like you're actually speaking to us and not reading a sign off to the right someplace. But those weren't the only speeches I heard yesterday. I heard another one as well. And this one means a lot more to me. Now, this is an LGBT podcast. The L in that stands for lesbian. And I'd be first to admit, I don't know that many lesbian women. They're just not in the same circles. Although we have the same goals, we have the same dreams, we have the same values. So when I stumbled across this, at first I kind of dismissed it and thought, well, okay. But I watched it, and I was so moved. And I'm so eager, and I'm excited and proud to be able to help to share this with you. I want you to watch this speech from a high school senior who was invited to participate in Martin Luther King Day Assembly and invited to sing a song. And she said, no, I don't want to sing a song. I want to give a speech. I want to speak to the audience. I want to speak to the entire school. Once you've watched this, I want you to share it. I want you to, well, first off, I implore you to stay tuned and watch the entire thing. And second, when you have, you take it, share it with everybody you know, because it sums it up for every one of us. I know it did me. It's exactly what I went through when I was a teen. Just change the gender and you've got me. And I'm so proud of her. President Obama gave that speech last night. Everybody was looking forward to it. Everybody was there and accepting of it. This young woman gave this speech and she surprised her entire audience, yet they still applauded her. The courage that she showed by getting up front. She even says she was terrified. Watch this video and then share it. Please.
So about a month ago, I walked into Miss Mansell's classroom after school to talk to her about the MLK Assembly. She greeted me with a smile and started to talk to me about what song she wanted me to sing. But I told her that I wasn't there to sing, that I wanted to speak. that I wanted to stand in front of all of you and break my silence. I'm terrified to share my message. I'm afraid of losing friends and losing loved ones. I'm afraid of losing my reputation at this school and the way people look at me. This speech will change my life forever, but I hope that my words can change more. I grew up like any other kid. Great parents, lots of love, normal experiences. I had my first boyfriend when I was in kindergarten. We would hold hands and walk down the playground together. At 5 years old, I sought nothing but friendship. However, my parents and all the grown-ups in my life thought it was very cute and normal. 6th grade came and hormones kicked in. I thought the feelings I was feeling towards boys were the same as any other preteen my age. It was a year later, in 7th grade, when I went to this play, and I saw this girl on stage. And I got this electricity that ran through my body. Something I've never felt before. Now, it wasn't long before I made the connection that what I was feeling was the same feeling that my friends described to me when they saw a cute guy. The second I made that connection, I felt sick to my stomach. I realized what was happening and I couldn't handle it. I lie awake that night, trying to come up with some explanation to describe the feelings I was having. Anything besides being gay. I prayed to God to assure me that I wasn't gay. I begged him not to let that happen. In the years following, I simply buried my feelings. I hid them from myself, convinced myself that I was straight, and started to date guys. And I honestly fell in love. But something was always missing. I never felt complete in the relationship. It was frustrating. I didn't understand why. I loved this person, I cared about this person. That's how it's supposed to be, right? It wasn't until this last summer when I was pulled out of my denial. I participated in a Rent production at 6th Street Playhouse. And I met people who had broken their silence. I met gay teens who were happy. Something I didn't think was possible. That was the first time I ever spoke aloud about my hidden feelings. I was in a place where I knew I would be accepted, where I could accept myself. I was liberated. I am so, so lucky to have a family who loves me and supports me for who I am. I even have a close friend group who supports me. And now I feel this need to stand in front of all of you and tell you that I'm gay, because I want to break the silence. I want to break it for Maria Carrillo High School. I want to stand up here and talk about this because no one ever does. And I want to make one thing very clear. I didn't choose to be gay. Facing this reality was the most challenging thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. My focus for school went down, my energy level diminished, and my passion for life ebbed away, simply because I knew for the rest of my life I was going to face a world that told me that I was wrong, that I needed to change, and that I was making the choice to have the feelings that I was having. And most of all, I was going to face a world that told me to stay silent because people don't want to hear this part of me. In the last few months, 5 teenagers have taken their own lives. Simply because they could not handle the torment of pressure, bullying, hatred, and ignorance that they faced every day. These kids did not have a choice to be gay. Just like you and I don't have a choice over the color of our skin. So I'm simply telling you that my body works different than yours. My brain and my hormones work different. but I can't help or change that. Now, some people bring up the point that it's okay for me to have these feelings, but it's wrong for me to act upon them. So essentially, these people are telling me that it's wrong for me to fall head over heels in love. It's wrong for me to get that unbelievable joy when I kiss that special someone. That it's wrong for me to find my soulmate. But that I need to do the right thing by suppressing my feelings and living a lie and living in silence. Now, why don't I have the right to find my soulmate? Everyone else gets to. I want to fall in love with someone someday. And I want to walk down the street and hold her hand. I want to hold her in my arms and tell her that everything's going to be all right. And eventually, I want to marry her. I want to buy a house with her. And if she's ever to get sick, I want to be at her hospital bedside to protect her and comfort her. And I want to do these things because I love her and I care about her more than anything in the entire world. It's time. It's time to stop being afraid. It's time to listen to what people have to say, to what I'm saying right now. It's up to us to make our own opinions, not follow our parents' opinions or our grandparents' opinions. If our grandparents had followed what their parents had said and what their grandparents have said, we would have never overcome racism. It's up to us, this generation, everyone sitting in this room right now, to listen to what I'm saying, to what the thousands of people like me are saying, that we want a chance to live our life and fall in love without being discriminated against, because that's what's right. And you know in your heart that's what's right. It's time, Maria Creo. It's time to break my silence.
Again, I implore you, please share this video with everyone you know. I cannot believe what a brilliant speaker, what a brilliant speech. Someday she wants to run for president. She's got my vote. Now, having said that, because I couldn't say it any better, that's all I'm going to say.